Are you tired of feeling like your stomach has its own agenda? Like the bloating, gas, or constant trips to the bathroom are running your life? Welcome to the Beyond Bloated podcast, the podcast where we tackle those frustrating gut issues head on, without strict diets or giving up your favorite foods. I'm Carly, a certified gut health coach who's been there, struggling with bloating that made me look 6 months pregnant, gut pain that kept me from enjoying meals, and fatigue so draining it felt impossible to get through the day. Now, I help women like you find freedom from those symptoms and take back control of their lives. Each week, we'll debunk gut health myths, dive into simple, actionable tips, and hear stories from women who've been exactly where you are. It's time to feel confident, energized, and bloat-free. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Beyond Bloated podcast, or welcome for the very first time. Today, we are doing something that we have never done before on the podcast. I am sitting down with one of my past one-on-one clients, Jennifer, to share her incredible, inspiring, amazing story. Jennifer completed my 6-month program about 8 months ago, and she has very generously agreed to come on and talk today about her experience, what her life looked like before we started working together, what changed during our time together, and what has stayed consistent in the 8 months following our work together. I am especially excited about this conversation because Jennifer is the perfect example for the woman who believes she is too busy to work on her gut health. When we first started working together, she was running her storefront business, The Hermit's Path, working a part-time job, taking on freelance work, and training in martial arts 3 times a week. On top of that, she rarely had access to a kitchen most days. She had no fridge, no stove, not even a microwave, which meant she was relying on quick cafe food and on-the-go options a lot of the time. That was definitely one of the biggest challenges that her and I navigated together. I will let her share the details of what she was dealing with, but if you can relate to daily PPI medication for acid reflux, ongoing stomach pain and vomiting, constant bloating, low energy, or even unexplained seizure episodes that disrupt your life, you are going to want to stay tuned for this one. I would love to give a big warm welcome to one of my past clients and I hope now friends,
Yes.
Jennifer from The Hermit's Path. Thank you for joining us on the Beyond Bloated podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I feel like this is a long time coming.
It has, yes, I would say the same.
We worked together. I did the math. 8 months ago, we finished.
Okay.
It's been about a year since we started.
Yes, because I started in January, like basically January 1st, because I reached out to you over the Christmas break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
And before we jump into all of our fun work that we did together, I would first love if you could introduce yourself to our listeners, who you are, what you do, whatever you'd like to share.
Sure. So I'm Jennifer. I'm a witch and owner of The Hermit's Path. It's a metaphysical shop over in Langford Station. For those who may not live locally, that's basically in Victoria, British Columbia. I have my own curated spiritual line, and then I work with over 15 other Canadian ritual suppliers and makers. So supporting environmentally conscious and locally made witchy products. So that's my thing. I'm also a photographer and I have a background in digital marketing. So I'm excited to do this.
And I have been to your shop many times. I stalk Jennifer. It's like,
I love that for me.
She attends a ton of local markets.
I do, yes.
And I love going to market.
Yes, she does. I see her.
And I basically just follow your Instagram and see what market is Jennifer going to be, and then I show up.
Excellent. Yeah. Yes, I do. I do a lot of markets, and then I also host my own series called Spooky Market. So it's Langford's only Halloween market, and then I also have the spring version called Roots and Renewal, which you will also be there. So I'm excited for that. And that one celebrates Ostera, or the spring equinox, basically. So my spring spooky.
We both love Halloween.
Yes.
We were saying before that she's like the witchy side of Halloween, also the murdery side of Halloween. But I'm more just the murdery side of Halloween.
Never heard that before. I love it.
Like serial killers,
Yes, the horror side.
The murdery side.
Roger that.
But we both love Halloween.
Yeah.
Also, many reasons why I wanted you on a podcast. But one of the main reasons is because you are an extremely busy woman. You run your own business. You run markets for other people. You attend markets on your own. I know you do martial arts in
That I do,
free
yeah.
time. You freelance. You do a shit ton of stuff. I'm happy for you. You are successful. You are a strong, powerful woman. I love it. But you also still had time to focus on your health, which I love. And I get a lot of women who tell me, I'm too busy to do this. I don't have the time to put myself first, etc. So could you just give us an example of your week? You don't have to go into the details, but I really want to get the picture of what does Jennifer do during the week?
Sometimes I wonder that. No, I'm joking. So the year prior to reaching out to you, I had told myself I need to start advocating for my health. I was going through a lot of health issues, and I'm sure we can talk about that in a bit. But when I reached out to you, it was kind of at a pinnacle. Like, I had manifested this. I need to fix this. There are problems, and I have to prioritize it. Like, it was a non-negotiable at that point. But as you may remember from our initial consultation, like, I was also very resistant about doing certain things, i.e. the gluten-free thing. I am now gluten-free and fully enjoy it. But at the time, so I had my shop. I was also doing part-time driving. And while I very much enjoyed that work, it was like super part-time. It impacted me because I was on the road. And so for me, making excuses basically about preparing food ahead and feeling like, oh, I'm always on the run, so I need to have something go. That was probably my biggest challenge and obstacle to overcome, to determine how do I overcome that? So that was something that I'm glad we worked on, because then I was able to start learning how to balance my meals, which ultimately made the biggest difference. And once I knew and learned how to balance my meals and how to prepare my stomach, then we were just sailing from there. Like, from there, it was just maintenance. And since then, it's been totally fine. I am in I would say, privileged position that because I'm no longer on the go so much, I do have that opportunity to work out and come home and make a proper balanced meal. The days where I don't, like market days, are terrible for me. Because I'm up at like 5 or 6 a.m. and I immediately have to go. I don't really have time to make myself eggs and avocado on toast and blah, blah, blah. And, I've had to, unfortunately, break my own rules every once in a while and do a Starbucks run. But because I prepared myself, I don't suffer the consequences nearly as much. So it's okay. Every once in a while to do that,
Ultimately, that is the goal, right? Like, I preach in my programs progress over perfection, because you don't need to be perfect.
Yeah.
I also have days where I just grab takeout, and that's life. That is the point.
Yeah.
I don't want to make every meal from scratch. I actually don't like cooking, which shocks a lot of people. So I'm a gut health coach, and they're like, you must love making all your meals.
God, no. I enjoy cooking, but to some degree. I don't have time to cook anymore. I do karate 4 nights a week now. I teach. So now I'm just like, I'm never home at dinner time anymore. So now it becomes okay, how do we prepare our meals ahead? Or who can cook a proper meal that I can eat? I've got a husband who likes and enjoys his bachelor man foods. That, bless his heart, but like, I can't eat. So, we try and find compromises where we can in that, but it does make it a bit challenging in that way, but learning how to respect your schedule, and then also, well, what can we do to make it work? So finding things like, the HelloFresh or whatever, those types of programs where they have like those meals that you can prepare. It takes the excuse away at that point.
Yes. Point is, there are always things that can be done no matter how busy your schedule is, if you are willing to prioritize.
Oh, 100%. And that was a big thing. Like, even with me, like, there was quite a bit of a stubborn layer to get through. Like, oh, I am not willing to compromise this. I enjoy this too much. I love bread. Well, you know what? Gluten-free bread has come a long way in the years. And I actually enjoy it more to some degree than anytime, like, I do have to eat regular pasta because it's whatever. I actually enjoy my gluten-free stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, things like that. So
definitely. As someone who has been gluten-free for 7 years, I can definitely say the taste is good, but also you feel better. Yes. So that makes it a lot more appealing. Yes. It's like, is the bread that's going to make you feel awful worth it?
Yeah.
If you need to be gluten-free.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody does, but when you're struggling with gut issues, it is common.
It is common. That and the dairy thing too. Like I think even at that point, I had oat milk in my diet already. But like trying to reduce, because we had kind of experimented where let's try just gluten-free first. And then if it was still a problem, then we were going to try gluten and dairy-free, right. Which that in particular was very painful because I love cheese. Fake cheese just does not cut it for me. So yes, I'm glad gluten-free just worked for me, but there are folks who, might need to do both. And at the end of our time together, it was like, well, what are you going to do to keep yourself accountable? Remind myself how I felt 6 months ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I, to this day, I still think that, like, oh, I don't like the way this feels. Maybe I shouldn't have eaten that. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often, but, or like asking myself, should I eat that? How is that going to make me feel later? Because I remember what I felt like before taking this program and did not like that. So it makes you ponder your decisions properly and in a way where you don't feel guilty. Like I've never felt the point where like, oh, I can't enjoy that. No, like I will enjoy certain things if I absolutely need to or want to and not feel guilty about it. But to again, remember, how is this going to make me feel later?
The choice is always yours.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes I am willing to suffer the consequences.
And that's it's always your choice.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to suffer for this tomorrow. Don't care. We are doing this.
Is the power in knowing, right?
Yes.
Knowing what is your trigger, what is the problem, and making the choice. Do you want to suffer or do you want to not? Up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's remind ourselves of what you were dealing with back in January of 2025. That was when we first started.
Yeah.
So when you first came to me, looking into my program, considering whether or not you wanted to do it, what were your most concerning symptoms back then?
So at the time, I and apologies ahead for our listeners here, I was throwing up a lot. I got these stomach pangs is the best way that I've ever been able to refer to them, kind of in my central gut where it just tight and it would just make me want to and I did. I would like just out of nowhere throw up, or it would last like hours and then I would have to make myself throw up, which is terrible because I didn't want that. But then I couldn't figure out what the problem was either. So that was the biggest issue. And then sometimes depending on, so I also have had for many, many years, since I was 15, had seizures. I'm not epileptic for our listeners. So there's various forms of seizures. My symptoms, my proper diagnosis is technically convulsion syncope, but it's a form of a seizure. And I have had grand mal seizures, but thankfully not from my gut health issues. That's basically when my body is under duress, that's when the seizures happen. So like if I'm having a panic attack and then I start hyperventilating, that usually turns into a seizure or convulsion. Those would happen quite regularly to the point where I was closing down my shop for a day or two here and there, or I'd have to ask friends to cover the store. It was taking away from a lot of my social life too, even. So yeah, I was starting to get really desperate about trying to find, well, what can we do here to solve this issue? My doctor was semi-helpful, I suppose, but even the good old Canadian care system. He's like, well, we can get you on a referral for a specialist for forget the proper
The GI specialist.
The GI specialist, yeah. He said, oh, it might take up to 2 years, and even then, they might not want to see you. And I was like,
promising.
What? Might not want to see you.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's like, can I do anything to fix your problem? No, or if it's not severe enough, like I guess they triage it, which is fair to say, but you might not want to see me
after 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll just be on hold for 2 years, and you get back to them.
So obviously, I had to take measures in my own hand. I did see a naturopath at one point, but that's not covered under any kind of medical insurance. So that's $200 out of pocket. Now, granted, it was nice to have felt heard, but even she said, well, you could go through all these allergy tests and you can do all of this. She's like, but the health industry just does not have enough money in that to really be able to solve the problem, like to really get down to the root cause. And I was like, oh, good. Like it was a good, like interesting, informative meeting with her. But the closest thing I got out of it was, I guess the DGL. So it's the like the bio supplement, which helps. My husband takes them now, actually, and it helps from his acid reflux. It's a really, just like for a little extra context, it's a very helpful supplement for those who have acid reflux issues,
which you also had at that time.
Yes,
right? You were
and that's actually very true to promote that.
You were on PPI medication.
I was, yes, it's true.
Yeah,
Prozac, yeah.
Okay, pause for a second. Have you taken my bloat personality quiz yet? It's totally free and honestly, freakishly accurate. This quick 2-minute quiz will help you figure out exactly which habits and patterns are behind your bloating, the ones no one ever talks about, and it gives you personalized, simple steps you can start using today to feel less bloated and more comfortable in your jeans. If you've ever wondered, why am I always bloated, even when I eat healthy, this quiz is your first clue. Head to beyondbloated.com/bloat-personality-quiz, or the link is in the show notes. Take the quiz and then send me your result. I love seeing which bloat personality everyone gets. Now, let's get back to the show.
My consult calls are always, I feel many different feelings because I feel terrible for the person who has gone through what you went through. Like since 2015, you've been having seizures. You're on medication.
2005.
Oh, sorry. Since you were 15, 2005, you were having seizures. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Like the acid reflux medication, seeing doctors and naturopaths and being told to wait indefinitely for a potential appointment that may never come. And then at the same time, I'm so happy that you're here because I know that I can help you get your life back. And it brings me so much joy to see you thriving now. So before we jump into how you feel now, when we met on that consult call, given you've already said that you were kind of stubborn and hesitant and questioning maybe me, my methods, my program, which is absolutely fair, we had never met before. I worked with one of Jennifer's friends.
Yes.
I helped her. It was a referral. So she was just kind of taking her word for it and seeing what was up. So when we first met, what were some of your hesitations? Like, what were you afraid that I would make you do, that you feel like you didn't have time for, that you wouldn't be able to do?
I was worried about, because there are a lot of health consultants out there, right? And they do make a lot of bold claims and such. So there is always a level of skepticism that one goes into when they're working with any kind of consultant, really, especially one that involves our health. It's such a big deal, right? And anything that involves with lifestyle changes, because and when we have other exterior factors like I don't have children, but I do have a husband, and my mother lives with me. And so, like, we have, a whole family that my lifestyle change, therefore changes how my family also lives. And so I have to consider that, unfortunately, into what I do with myself and my eating habits, etc. And or physical activity too, considering my schedule. So I was already so busy at the time that I really wanted to prioritize myself. I really wanted to get down to the bottom of it, but I was having a hard time trying to figure out how to make it work. And I think that was my biggest hesitation. How do we truly balance all of this where I don't lose myself, become obsessed with counting calories and shit, and the one thing that did appeal and draw me to you was the fact that you promote yourself. We don't count calories. I'm not going to ask you to do anything, you know what I mean? And this is true. You haven't. You've made suggestions based off of things like with symptoms. Can we try this? And that's okay.
Yeah.
Can we try it? Okay, sure. but the whole reason why anybody would go into something like this is because we're advocating for our own health. Don't do this if you're not willing to do it. Yes. You've got it. Like, this is not a cure-all. Like, we have to be able to be willing to do it. And so there was a little bit of that, like, inner work, truly, that you have to, okay, do I truly want to see a difference in myself? Yes. Well, then you gotta do it. Try it. Just humor her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that was some of the inner work and mental exercises, if you will, about our consultation.
Yeah, and I want to give you credit because you did come in a little hesitant and skeptical and stubborn, and that is honestly the norm. Mm-hmm. I go in the exact same way as someone who went through my own gut health journey for years, seeing different specialists, doing different diets and supplements and this and that, and none of it working. It's like, well, how are you going to help me?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. I totally get it, but you did trust the process. Mm-hmm. You trusted in me, which I'm grateful for, and you trusted in yourself. Yeah. You did it at the end of the day. Like you said, I was there with you. I supported you. I had guidance. I would never force you to do anything that you didn't want to do. And you took that initiative and you said, let's do it. And now you are feeling so much better than when you started back in January. What improvements did you see throughout the program? Let's start with, so as we were working together, like, we've already kind of gone through your symptoms. And by the way, I went back and looked through my little 5-star charts, your notes and everything. And when we first started working together,
all those ones,
your symptom burden overall for all different categories, which includes like mental health, mm-hmm. gut health, energy, skin health, like all of it, was 98. And by the time we were done, 6 months later, your overall burden was down to 40.
Yeah, okay. I seem to recall that, yeah.
So you cut it in more than half.
Yeah.
And the GI category alone, you started at 39 symptom burden. And by the way, you rate your symptom from 0 to 5 for different categories like bloating, gas, diarrhea, etc. And by the time we finished, 6 months later, your GI category was 3.
Yes. Yeah. It made a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, for example, we talked about how you were dealing with seizures, vomiting, pain, acid reflux. So how are those symptoms now?
Totally fine, because I trained my gut, and I take bitters, and I do lemon juice first thing in the morning. I'm also a lot more active, like physically, because I do martial arts. I train. I also go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah. So yeah. So I feel like that definitely helps. The balanced meals truly make a huge difference.
I preach it.
Yes, yes,
from the rooftop.
And it's a constant reminder, even to this day. I'm like, yeah, I could eat that, but I know I'm not going to feel that great. I should make a balanced meal. Where's my protein? Like that kind of thing, to make sure that I don't get those stomach pains. And you know what? happen so rarely now. And when they happen, I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, my body reminds me and I remember very quickly. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
So, okay, I know we finished working together back in June of 2025.
Yeah.
And that was when you had that symptom rating chart, go down from 39 to 3 in the GI category. Your overall symptoms went from 98 to 40. Would you say from June 2025 to now, you have kept that same level, or do you feel like you have regressed, or do you feel like you have leveled up and you feel even better?
Definitely at least the same, if not better. I did have a hysterectomy done during our time together too, and genuinely and transparently, I feel like that made a huge difference for me as well, because unfortunately, the endometriosis aspect of it really contributed towards my seizures and such too. So just like being transparent about that. But just sidebar here, Carly was fantastic at navigating my my pre and post recovery, surgery recovery process. So if you do have a surgery or anything in the likes, like she will take that into account. So no worries on that. But that did make an improvement to myself as well, because it did give me more energy to be able to do physical activities on the regular, and then also focusing more on my business, trying to relax as best I can, and just trying to manage my work-life balance a bit better is better on the gut as well. And being intentional with our eating habits. So my husband and I like to watch a show while we eat. We don't have a traditional dining room table because our apartment's too small for that. That's okay. I was kind of trained at a young child to just scarf down the food.
As we are.
Yeah. And so now I am slower at eating, and knowing, even which order to eat my food, because your vegetables digest differently than meats, which is painful because I do like to meld foods together and stuff, but that's okay. Again, it's a minor thing, right? I don't really think about it anymore. And actually, the intentional eating is something that my husband has taken away from me.
Yeah,
it's like, I've been listening. I swear.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and he's noticed a difference in that. So thank you.
Amazing. I love when it rubs off on the people around you.
Yes. Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not screaming at him, slow down.
No.
I am with my patient, but it just happens naturally. You are an influence on the people around you, which is another part of my work that I love. It's like, by helping you, I kind of unintentionally helped your husband a little bit.
Yeah, because I'm sharing my journey with my family. Like, oh, here's, especially again, because I have to make lifestyle changes. Like, okay, I'd like to try going gluten-free. Well, that's going to make a difference on grocery bills and such. So, then we're buying, some regular pasta, some gluten-free pasta. And so now how do we integrate that? Now my mom's gluten-free. So it was great. And she's enjoyed that as well. But trying to manage that, and then he's listening in on these things that I've been, I'm doing this now and I'd like to do that, and he watches me take my bitters and he goes, what are you doing, you crazy lady? And I'm like, yes, but I'm gonna feel good. Yeah.
Incredible. So even 8 months after working together, you are not dealing with the vomiting, the seizures, the stomach pain. Are you on PPI medication anymore?
I am not. I'm not on any medication. I don't even take the DGL. I just take bitters. Every once in a while, even. I don't even take those every day. It's just when I know that I'm going to have an acidic based meal. So tomato and stuff like that. Pizza, if I have that, I'll take the bitters before that. Or even if I'm not a pop drinker, but every once in a while, if I know that I'm going to have pop, or alcohol, same thing. I don't drink alcohol very often, but if I know that I'm going to, I will take the bitter stuff for it.
And when you have those things like the pizza, the pop, the uncharacteristic meals that you don't eat every single day, do you feel okay when you do your bitters and you kind of...
Yeah, especially because if they're gluten-free too, that's made a huge difference as well. I know that if I were to have just standard pizza, I know it would probably not sit great, and kind of linger in the back of my throat, if you will. But no, I'd say the fact that it's gluten-free now too, huge difference.
Which is awesome because you're able to have little
what I
treats
enjoy
and things you want, and you don't have to feel deprived. It's different than what it was,
but I'm still enjoying it.
It's tasty. I love pizza. I don't care if it's gluten-free, dairy-free. I love pizza.
I make my own gluten-free pizza crust now too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it worked out surprisingly well, actually.
Yeah, I love it. And then you mentioned your energy is up, so you're able to show up better to work and for your friends, your family, your husband, your life.
Yes.
Which you've got a lot going on, so energy is kind of crucial there. And do you feel like the habits that once felt challenging and like you had to think really hard about, like putting together a balanced plate or mindful eating, like do you find that those are more natural?
Easy? Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It did, like, I have a few, like, I love breakfast and brunch. Those are the best way, of course, to get my balanced meals and to set the tone for the day, right? Thankfully, because I go to the gym so early in the morning, I'm up early and then I get home and then I make my breakfast. So that's a great way for me to start my day. And even before the gym, I'll have like either a banana or, something to just get something into me. Otherwise, I do feel like I'm going to pass out.
No fasted workouts.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. But, I have like a few like set meals or like things, my like go-tos. And so they just make it super easy. I enjoy them. They're no problem.
I am so happy that we met. I am so happy that you are feeling so much better and that you've been able to maintain it 8 months after we finished working together. Yeah. You're thriving, like you started going to the gym, you're still doing your martial arts, you have your business, which is also thriving.
Lost weight?
Yeah, you lost weight. I even forgot about that. Another cool thing that happened just unintentionally, right?
Yeah, no, like, and losing weight was not necessarily like a high priority goal when we were initially setting, like, what are the 5 things you want out of this or whatever. Me not throwing up was number 1.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah. Losing weight was kind of a secondary thing. Like, it'd be nice if I did. And yes, especially since then, because I've been able to now maintain it. And then since going to the gym, yes, I've been getting a lot of compliments. Like, it's a lot of weight. Okay, thanks.
Incredible. Well, I'm happy for you. And I would love if you could share more about your business, because there is a tie in there between what you do and what I do, which may sound odd for a gut health coach and a witch to be like, we're the same, but there is, right? So
power of manifestation and intention, I would say, would probably be the biggest tie-in for that, unless you were thinking of something else. But
no,
that is it. Okay,
I totally agree. Like, there is so much more to gut health than just food, right? And that's a big part of what I teach and what I coach on is like food is a small part of it. Mindset, spirituality, intention, like all of it is very key to nervous system support. Yeah. When your nervous system is fried, you ain't digested.
Yes, absolutely. I would agree with that. Yeah. I am growing into a teaching forum with my own business. And a lot of the customers that I have are newer practitioners, which is great. I love that. Trying to seek their accessibility in just intentional energy and making it as simple, not overthinking it. And it's exactly like this too. Like, you don't need to get all Pinterest on it. You know what I mean? Like, this does not have to be complicated. It's intentional energy. We're just going in with a positive mindset, the willingness to be open-minded, and listening, not even to you, but to yourself, right? That's the shadow work aspect of it. Like I mentioned, I did a lot of inner work and a lot of fighting with myself. No, you can do it. Try it. Just the willingness to do that. Absolutely. I would say that would definitely tie into that.
Yeah, I would agree. So where can we find you, your business? I know you already mentioned Roots and Renewal in March. which will be shortly after this podcast episode comes out. So immediately go there.
Yeah. Yes, that's March 21st from 11 to 4 at Langford Station. It's free admission. You just show up. It's a big outdoor market. We've got some live music, lots of food, lots of healthy food too, lots of treats. And otherwise, my shop is there as well. I can be found at thehermitspath.com. I'm on Instagram at the.hermits.path, and Facebook as well, TikTok. Yeah, I'm on all the platforms. But you find me on my website, you'll find everything else there too.
Perfect.
Yes.
I will link the market and your website and your social themes
Appreciate that.
in the show notes so that everyone can find you. And I highly encourage everyone, go check out Jennifer's work. She is amazing. Everything she does is cool. Even if you're not a witch. I'm not a witch yet, but maybe I will be one day because her products are very cool.
It's for all spiritual levels, like of any kind. You don't have to be a witch necessarily to be at my store. Some people just like good energy stuff, and hey, man, that's a vibe too. So I don't discriminate.
No, and you bring good energy yourself, which is why we're now friends. Amazing. Well, I truly appreciate you joining us on the podcast to share your journey. I know it's personal, so sharing that is very, very powerful to other women who may be struggling with something that you went through. So thank you so much for sharing and for giving other women hope that they can feel better too.
Thank you. I just want to note that this process is very vulnerable, but it's so worth it in the sense that just how my start to my end, a world of difference. And from there, the maintenance aspect, like this isn't a process where you have to keep buying into something. It's a done and then or further consult if needed, of course. But she teaches you the tool. She gives you the tools you need in order to do what you got to do to live your life the way that you need to while feeling good. Like there's no, this is a win-win, guys.
There's no cash.
No, exactly. Yeah. So a fully 100% thank you for all of your support in that journey as well. I am throw up free, seizure free, stomach pang free for a while now. And I'm very, very thankful for it.
That's all I ever wanted.
Yes.
But thank you for that endorsement. I appreciate it.
She did not pay me for that.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you at another market soon.
Thank you, Carly, for having me.
Did you learn something new and useful today? If the answer is a big, resounding hell yeah, do me a favor. Subscribe to this podcast. Even better, toss a rating in there too. It helps more bloated babes discover this show and lets me keep bringing you this free, gut-loving content every single week. And hey, don't be greedy. Share this episode with your bestie who's always unbuttoning her pants after dinner. She will love you even more for it. Thanks for hanging out with me and showing your gut some love. Keep on putting what you learn into practice and you will be bloat-free in no time. Catch you in the next one. Bye.